What is going on, guys? We are live. This is the Sinners Only podcast, back for another week with Ep.4. Dang, we're back. How you guys doing today?
Listen, we vibing, we chilling. How you doing, Elijah?
Bro, we live in a dream, just order some Wingstop before this. So
Mm,
after this, it's
yo,
lit. So
it really is lit. Yo,
Nah, bro, I
I've
don't really
heard so
bangs
much
with
of Will.
Wingstop like that, bro.
why don't you like Wingstop, bro?
Bro, Wingstop, bro, you spend like $20, you get like 5 wings, bro.
Honestly, it really be like that, bro.
But
Dang.
Like it hurt.
it do taste good, bro. I'm not gonna hold you. It does taste really good, bro.
Yeah,
Real question is Buffalo Wild Wings or Wingstop?
Buffalo Wild Wings for sure.
Mm,
Taste wise, I gotta go with Wingstop, but for value and fullness, bro,
yeah,
you gotta go Buffalo Wild. And the vibes, bro, you could go into a
uh,
Buffalo Wild Wings and watch any fight, any game, anything like that. So I gotta go with
yeah.
Buffalo
That's
Wild Wings,
true.
bro.
There we
Man,
go.
we only been through Wingstop because of Rick Ross, bro. That's it.
Because of Rick Ross.
Yo,
Oh,
I'd like to shout out. That it's not Ruslan this week. I'd like to shout out Kanye West, who's currently watching in the live chat. Thank you so much.
word.
Yes,
Shout
sir.
out Kanye.
What's up, Kanye? Thank you for tuning in.
Speaking of that, Josh, what's the topic this week, bro?
Hey man, listen, we're talking about a very prolific artist, one of the top charting rappers slash artists of all time, basically at this point. He surpassed the hip hop genre. He's become someone who's entered the fashion industry. So you ain't got the answer, Sway. You ain't got the answer. One of the biggest names of all time, Mr. Ye himself, Kanye Omari West. We'll be talking about
Mm.
him throughout the conversation today. Um, Tell me about your experiences with Kanye, because like man, this man has left a legacy at the ripe age of what was he 44? He's left
Early
quite a
40s, bro.
legacy. He's in his early mid 40s. So tell me about your experiences with the man, because despite all the controversy, despite everything going around with his name, he definitely has left a legacy. So let me know about your experiences with this man, like in terms of listening to his music, fashion game, anything revolving around Kanye. Let me know when you first heard of him, this, that, and the other.
Well, y'all know me, bro. Y'all definitely know me. Like, bro, everything I do is inspired by this man, Kanye, bro. Like, yo, like from head to toe, bro. You guys know me, Brad, bro. Brad the bear
Mhm.
is designed after the Kanye bear that he puts
That's
on
right.
all his
Oh
albums
shoot.
because, yeah, bro. I didn't. The guy who actually created Brad, the character Brad, he said the only reason he designed Brad as a bear because he saw me as like a Kanye. Like he saw me as the same mentality. But nah, man, every single move that Kanye does, bro, I feel like I'm super inspired, bro. I don't let me put a disclaimer. I'm not into Kanye's music, like rap wise. But
Mhm.
like there's some beautiful things that Kanye has produced
Mm.
in his music career. And like when we're talking like biggest names in like songwriting and production, you got to put in Kanye West in that conversation and Ed Sheeran. I feel like you can't. And Pharrell Williams. You can't go.
Hmm.
You can't go in music industry. Find a top 10 hit that Kanye, Pharrell Williams, or Ed Sheeran didn't have anything to do with it. So I got to give the man his musical talent, even though I don't personally listen to Kanye music like that. I got to give him his talent. And then on the fashion end of things, bro, like iconic, bro, iconic. Change the fashion game, bro. 10, 20 years ago, you would have not seen a company by an American person, far less for a person of color from America, to own a creative fashion label like Donda. Donda, like that could not happen. That never happened before. Kanye broke down all those cultural and ethnic doors for like everybody to just come in now and filter through that. So you got to give
Mm.
the man his respect, bro.
Absolutely, yeah. Giving this man respect, I can tell you for me, man. Literally one of the very first songs I remember hearing on the radio. I mean, I'm sure I've heard other songs on the radio before, but the one of the very first ones I remember, right next to "Wake Me Up When September Ends" by Green Day. Shout out, that's still one of my favorite songs.
Mm,
Right alongside that, I do remember "Gold Digger" from Kanye
mm,
West,
Hmm.
Jamie Foxx. One of the
classic.
first songs I remember. She give me money. I believe. Yeah, man. Listen, I'm telling you, man. I mean, this man Kanye. I'm not gonna lie, man. Like I mentioned earlier, through the controversy, through everything that has been going on the past few years, this man got hits after hits after hits. bops after bops after bops. I mean, like you just go down his catalog, and I mean, there's a few outliers throughout his catalog, his discography, but you look down, for example, College Dropout, and how iconic of an album, first album that was, and you go down Late Registration, Graduation, probably one of the best. I'll go out on a limb and say this, probably one of the best first 3 solo albums a rapper could possibly have had. I mean, like those.
That's a big claim, bro.
Statement.
I mean, like for me, that's right up there with Eminem's first 3 albums: Slim Shady LP, Marshall Mathers LP, and Eminem Show. I mean, but all of those albums from Kanye and Eminem, critically acclaimed, commercially successful, and I mean, like they're like super up there for me. So I mean, like you continue down the catalog. I mean, 808s, I may not have liked that much, but super influential in like the way we hear music nowadays, like the Kid Cudis, the Drakes, and the way that Drake has inspired so many people now. And then you go down My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. Jesus isn't my favorite, but like it's there. And then you go down Life of Pablo, super dope album. All the way down, to his recent album Donda. Man, this guy's got bops after bops. So I mean, I gotta give a big shout out to my man Kanye, because I definitely bumped to his music, and I'm not as familiar with his fashion stuff, other than you ain't got the answer way. But other than that, but I mean, like in terms of his music, he's definitely been up there in terms of like just for me, greatest artist of all time. You can even go back to his time with his production with Jay-Z and his time with Rockefeller in early 2000s, late 90s. Super dope stuff. So I'm definitely about it.
That's defining hip hop right there. What you just said right there, like this stuff with Jay-Z back in the late 90s, early 2000s, that is what defined hip hop, bro.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to get canceled for saying that, but nah, bro, like high key, you can't have modern day music and you can't have modern day hip hop without Kanye. I've never had this much respect for Josh ever, like in the hip hop discussion.
Dang, that's crazy.
Let's just take a moment to shout out Josh real quick.
Yo, listen, the extent of our hip hop conversation has been, yo, Josh, like this is chat. Yo, Josh, Kendrick Lamar ain't the greatest. Drake is better. Yeah. Dang. So yeah, I appreciate that.
All I'm saying is, yo, Lige, who do you think got bar for bar, J. Cole or Kendrick, bro?
We talking Kendrick, bro?
Bar for bar.
Kendrick, bro? Come on. I think bar for bar, definitely Kendrick. I mean, like, I think J. Cole spins some lyrical stuff where it's like got you thinking, but Kendrick's like, yo, he have you thinking, but he also be like,
he be having fun while he at it.
So, but yeah, yo, my first experience with Kanye was his record Jesus Walks. Like that was my very first experience with him. Going to church, got that bumping in on the radio. It's like, oh, bet Jesus Walks. Okay, this is a Christian song. I mean, whatever, right? Like, so I think it's cool because in some way, shape, or form, Kanye has always like had some sort of spiritual Christian roots tied to his music a little bit, right? And then I think growing up, he, I didn't really like bang with Kanye like that because, like, I was more in like, I don't know, early 2010s, like the jerking phase was happening. So I was listening to no Kanye, bro. I was listening to like the New Boys, bro. Like I was out here jerking with the skinny G's, you know what I mean? But as time went on, though, he started dropping some pretty good music that I started to like, right? Like this is the one song, Power, right? I honestly, that John's a hit. No matter what the lyrical content of it is, they dropped a crazy music video that was like, oh, bet, is this man like, is he for real now? But I think that song was just like, it's really, really good though. Like you walk into like a room or whatever, you got that song playing in the background, you feel like the man, bro. So honestly, my first couple experiences, but other than that, man, my experience with Kanye has been like, hey, media, him, dating or him marrying Kim Kardashian. Other than that, man, I am a sinner, bro. that's why he's sinners only, bro. But other than that, man, like I think as of recently, my experience with him has been this like his recent conversion of just coming to know Jesus, making Jesus music, which I'm like, oh snap, this is pretty fire. I think he's like, along with Justin Bieber and a few other artists, that they're on the cusp of like they're Christian, but they're also making music that necessarily doesn't have to be Christian, which is really, I think is really, really amazing. Some people think otherwise. Whatever.
But what's actually cool about that, Lige? I actually heard, I don't know if it was Chance who said this or Justin Bieber that said this, but Justin Bieber, Chance the Rapper, and Kanye West, right? I don't know if this has validity, but one of them said it, right? They all get on the phone once a week and they keep each other accountable. They pray for each other and they keep each other accountable. I don't know if that's still current. Maybe that was Kanye 2 months ago. Maybe that it was, but yeah, man, I think that was really cool to see from like, because we always ask these questions with these celebrities, like, are they really saved? But the fact that they're taking a step towards accountability, bro, that's huge. That's huge because our natural flesh does not want to be held accountable.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah, and I think that's a big thing is that we see these celebrities, a public life, but we don't really know their private life, and so as an audience, how do we kind of react to these celebrities? Something that was kind of teased out throughout, you guys talking about the experiences with Kanye and whatnot. Something that was a little teased out is how the media portrays Kanye. And as I was going down the discography that he has, I can go to each one of his albums and kind of pinpoint a certain moment during the promotion of that album, during the release time of that album, where there was some sort of kind of controversial moment that kind of tied in Kanye with the promotion of those albums. Where you didn't really hear too much of him during like the aftermath of the albums leading up to his next album, but then once the albums start to come out, you start to hear a little bit more about him. And let me provide some examples. Around 2004, 2005, Hurricane Katrina happened. He made the comments about George Bush hates black people. That was right around that time. You then get into his graduation album release, and he has this whole kind of competition with 50 Cent in regards to who's going to make more album sales. Literally the biggest thing ever. And then you come to around 808s and Heartbreaks. You have his whole controversy of him switching up his style with the auto-tune singing. You then go to My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. You see the controversy with him and Taylor Swift. He isolated himself for months and months and months in, I believe it was Hawaii, and then he came out with this album. You then go to Yeezus, and he had the whole, I keep referring to this incident, but the whole "You Ain't Got the Answer" sway, and the whole the rundown with his fashion design. That's when he was starting to release that around Yeezus. You go to The Life of Pablo, and you see all these different things where every few weeks, every few months, he would re-release the album with new edits, new verses, take out stuff. And then you go through, 2018 with that whole 5-week span where he was releasing Ye, he was releasing Kids See Ghost. And that's when he was kind of going off on the whole Trump MAGA thing. And so I cite all these examples because Kanye seems to be a very prolific guy and very controversial, especially when it comes to around his albums and especially with his private life and everything. And so what do you guys think in regards to kind of his persona and kind of what is it about his persona exactly that keeps him in the limelight so much? What is it about like his the way he acts that keeps him so much in the forefront? Obviously his music, obviously his artistry is there, but what is it about his persona specifically that attracts people and kind of makes them talk about him?
Dang, Josh got the receipts, bro. Like you was lifting all thing after thing, bro. Okay, you came prepared, my G.
Dang.
I think what it is with Kanye, bro, like, bro, some people just have that charismaticism to them, right? To themselves. Like maybe it is a big plot, right? Maybe it is a big plot and he has the greatest PR on the planet. Or maybe him himself, he's just good at marketing and stuff, right? And for the longest time, I did think that, right? But maybe it's just him as a person, But this is just, me spitballing out here, Shout out to Mike Todd, we spitballing out here. But no, I'm just throwing ideas out there. Maybe in some way he doesn't do this purposely, right? Like maybe it's like some unconscious way of him trying to stay in the limelight, or the opposite side of the spectrum is that he does these things to specifically be in the limelight. But having him tied to that Kardashian family, man, anything could be for publicity, bro. Because Kim Kardashian herself was married to Chris Humphries for 70 days. Josh knows who Chris Humphries is, right? Yeah. Chris Humphries is is he was on the Nets at the time, basketball player. And yeah, he was married to Kim Kardashian for 70 days. And then when they talked about it after the divorce, she was like, oh yeah, it was just, just for publicity, just for publicity. So it's like, it leads me to think, right? Like right now, specifically where we are with Kanye, right? Is the whole Kim Kardashian situation with him, right? And Pete Davidson and all that. It leads me to think that Kim Kardashian probably, I'm not, not saying for sure, but probably chose the opposite of Kanye, so to drive that reaction from him. It could be, right?
Mhm.
Like, knowing that the media would cover it, because all we've been seeing is the media's narrative of this, right? We haven't really heard from Kim. We barely heard from Pete Davidson. We've heard what we heard from Kanye. We don't actually know the full truth, right? But we do know that Kim has been seen with Pete Davidson, and maybe she chose Pete Davidson for this very reason, to push this narrative at this moment. And then, well, as you said, Josh, albums come out February 22nd. Donda 2 is coming out, so it's like, you start to think, right? It's that's a little fishy, don't you think? Like,
yeah,
yeah. But that's my take on it.
Yeah, absolutely. And kind of to continue this conversation forward, to what extent do we think that mental health could be a factor in this? Because like we know, like he suffers from, I believe it's bipolar disorder. So like where does his mental health kind of fit in with everything else? Like in regards to the way he's perceived.
Bro, I think it plays a really big role. I think with everything that Kanye has been through, like he did lose his mom, like back in the day, what a couple years ago, not a couple years ago,
2008, I believe.
2008. He's gotten married. He's been through a car crash too. Like there's all these different things that have been happening, and now like what's happening in his current life right now is like probably driving him over the edge. I would say if any normal person was like acting out like that, we would automatically be like, mental health, basically. And I think I don't want to, like, I could be wrong, right? We could say like, hey, it might be, Kanye does all these different things in order to stay in the limelight because of him like about to drop an album and stuff. But it might seriously be a point of like him really actually going through some type of like mental health crisis a little bit, especially when you have all these different events happening all at once. And I think for me, if I was going through mental health, right, kind of put myself in Kanye's shoes, it's like, bro, like if I was going through all this stuff happened in my past, and then I have like my marriage like right before my eyes, and the media light pretty much is kind of falling apart, and like I don't know, my wife is with another guy. Like I feel like I would like go crazy too. You know what I mean? I think
it's not far fetched.
Yeah, it's not something that's like, I think the media does a good job of being like, oh, bet, look at this person. Look at the celebrity. They're acting crazy. We would never be like that. Knowing dang well, everybody in the whole country right now is going through a current pandemic. People are acting like that right now. And I think like Kanye, he's just going through a rough time, man. And I think like also to kind of point out that like kind of his personality and stuff, like, bro, like I was kind of thinking about the stuff he said about MAGA, right? I think people look at that and it's like, why is Kanye acting like this, right? It may be because like, hey, like he just likes being flashy. He likes being out there and just like kind of having his name always in the media and stuff. Or maybe he just has these real life thoughts and he's just like, bet, I want to let these like, be out there. Or maybe he's just going through life, bro. Maybe he's just, displaying a certain reality that like, yeah, most people can't when they're a celebrity, or most people try not to when they're a celebrity. But
the camera is just there. It's just there. It's not. Maybe it's just regular life, and he's just going through regular life, and the camera is just literally always there. Like he just has no privacy. You think about if this was happening to you, like think about if somebody followed you around with a camera all day, they would find something to twist in the media to say Josh is the worst person ever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and
Josh is the worst person ever, though. By the way,
right. Listen, I am like we were talking about last week. I am trash. I am the chief of sinners. No, but I mean, like I think you're right. You're in the right direction there, Chad. Where like there's so many videos I've seen with Kanye and the paparazzi. And the paparazzi are literally like in his garage right next to his cars, and kind of like, what the heck are you doing? Get out of here. And so you're like, just imagine that, like, constantly every day, constantly a camera right next to you, getting the worst of you.
And then tie that together with mental health, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Kanye for years has been a man who has faced adversity, and I say this because he in the sense, like, if you think back to his early days, he has a song in his first album. The very last song is called Last Call. It's like a 12-minute song, like 3 or 4 minutes of it is like actually like rap through and whatnot. But then the final like 8 minutes is Kanye West literally just talking and talking and talking about how he basically made it, how he got to Rockefeller Records, how he made his first album and whatnot. And a big thing is that, like, people just basically chalked him up as a producer, right? They basically said, like, yo, like, hey man, you're good at producing. And then Kanye would be like, well, go ahead, like, let me show you one of my rap songs. They're like, oh, okay, that's cool, and then that's it. So you take an example like that. You then take an example of like his fashion, and basically like people chalked him up as someone who that's not his industry. You take all these examples of Kanye basically being a guy who people don't believe in. So then you take that and tie that in with what we're talking about, the paparazzi thing, the mental health thing, kind of mix it all together and stir it up. And then you have a Kanye West. And then on top of that, wanting to do promotion, wanting the flashy stuff, mix all four of those things and probably other things that we're not thinking of. Mix all that together, you get Kanye West, the man who is faced with all this controversy that we're seeing now. And given the fact that he has an ego the size of Mount Rushmore as well.
Yeah.
I mean, you mix all those things together, and
so what I'm getting at. So I guess we have two opposite spectrums where one, it could be them plotting some grand scheme to get publicity,
right.
And then it could just be Kanye is really going through it, and they're just catching it on camera, like he's a human being, he deserves to have emotions and feelings,
Right. Yeah. And then that perfectly leads into like kind of the next part of our conversation, which is like how much of what we see from Kanye are like antics and versus like his actual thoughts and opinions. Like how much of it is a publicity stunt? How much is it like what he actually believes?
I mean, as long as he's not doing anything wrong, you know what I'm saying? Like in his song, he threatened Pete Davidson. As long as he doesn't act upon that, you know what I'm saying? Like maybe it's just an antic,
Right. Yeah.
I think it definitely. I think it is antics. I think it's definitely a lot less for publicity, but also it could be a mix of both a little bit. You know what I mean? I think no matter what Kanye says, like especially with the line of like on with him in the game, right? Like he said that's gonna get some traction from people. It's like, yo, telling people like Pete Davidson, like, yo, you need to get bodyguards because Kanye might really be about that life. He might,
and not even just him, his supporters, bro. Crazy fans do crazy things,
So I think it might just be a mix of both, right? Like especially because like Chad said, like, he has Donda 2 coming out. I mean, I'm looking forward to it, but like, does he need to drop another album like after he just dropped Donda, bro? Like I don't think he does. But the fact that like I think he is kind of thriving off of everything that's going on right now. He's just like, bet I'm gonna push this album, and I think because like. More or less, I think a lot of people think of Kanye as like a musical genius a little bit, kind of, especially in the producer aspect, right? So it's like, I mean, I think it's suspected that like he would do something like this. He would throw out another album right after the other one. And I think his mental health and just everything, it might this might be a mix of everything, bro. I think
you know what's crazy, bro? What's crazy?
What's up?
Let's hear it.
Bro, Kanye does all these antics, right? And to get promotion and sales. You know who doesn't need that, bro?
Yep.
Jesus.
I was gonna say Adele, bro. Adele is like the greatest selling artist of all time, bro. Yo, snap.
Hey, this is why sinners only, bro.
Praise break on.
No. Bro. I was gonna say Adele, bro. Adele really, she be selling hundreds of thousands of copies more than like any other artist, and she has sometimes no publicity. Like she doesn't do any ad campaigns or anything. She dropped that album 30, I think it was 2021, and it did numbers, bro. And like I didn't even see anything on social media.
When was the last album that she dropped? It was like 2015 maybe 2013.
She took
something
a
like
break
that.
because she had
She took
kids,
a break
right?
for a while.
Yeah,
Yeah,
bro.
and like you come back with an album like that, drop the numbers you got. I mean that's really crazy, and that reminds me of like Beyonce also. Whenever she dropped like two surprise albums, one in 2013, one in 2016. Those two did numbers. So I mean, I guess you got to be a female, man. Us
I don't
men,
know, bro, but
man.
wait. Because the top selling artists of ever, right? You think about
Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson. You
Mhm.
think Adele. Surprisingly, Taylor Swift, the
Yeah,
Beatles. You got
yeah.
Drake,
Right.
Led Zeppelin, Madonna. Yeah, and then you have to put Kanye in that conversation because
Yeah.
I don't think there's another rapper aside from Eminem that could do Kanye's numbers regularly.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. And Eminem is one of those guys that, other than the Slim Shady LP, all of his albums have dropped #1 in the first week. Um, and I mean, like this man has gone platinum so many times, and yeah, no, absolutely. So I think
Yeah, but
Kanye
what
is
about J.
definitely up
Cole, bro?
there. Yeah.
But wait till
Yo,
Kendrick come back though.
what about Cole? This man, I go platinum with no features, bro.
Yo, all I'm saying is, Jesus went platinum, bro, coming from Nazareth, bro. That's all I'm saying, bro. He took the gospel to the whole world, bro. I had to redeem myself, bro. I had to redeem myself.
Hey, Jesus never be wearing any jewelry because he breaks every chain, bro.
That's a
That's
bar.
Bar.
That's a
Yeah.
bar.
Well, speaking about Jesus, kind of connecting it to this whole conversation that we're having with Kanye, with his his changed life, as a Christian. Obviously we're not in his private life, so like we can't know the specifics, but then if we hear things like what you mentioned, Chad, with Justin Bieber, Chance, and Kanye, you start to think, what, maybe Kanye is a brother. And obviously that's something between him and God. But based on kind of this knowledge that we have with this kind of route that Kanye has been going with his music in terms of making more Christian music, he has his what's it called, his Sunday service performances that he's had over the past few years. So how should a Christian specifically respond to a guy like Kanye West, a guy like Justin Bieber, who also has been kind of going down that train as well? How does a Christian kind of respond to Kanye and the fact that he still is a very controversial figure nowadays?
Well, I said it once, bro. I said it with the Michael Todd situation, bro. I'm gonna say it again. Like, yo, we just gotta pray for this brother, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, bro, like our defense. They said this at my church today, so I'm quoting the preacher from today. So I'm not plagiarizing. I'm putting this in MLA format. But yeah, nah. He said today, man. Our defense, like when you look at apologetics, right? The defense of the faith. It's like your approach to defense in the gospel comes from prayer. You know what I'm saying? Like every single thing that you have to do for the kingdom should be rooted in prayer. And he used, I think it was Colossians 4, 3-5 to set this precedence, right? Yeah, man, like I think it's just super important. We just need to be praying for this brother, like a lot of sources close to Kanye, including Ruslan. Well, he's not really close to Kanye, but he said he'd have mutual friends. Like, they say, he has good leadership around him. He has people that are legitimate believers around him. They say that he's he looks like he's a legitimate Christian. I think it was Fivio Foreign that said, like, Kanye, when making Donda, he made every single person who was involved in the album sit down and do a Bible study before they record anything. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like that's not publicity, because that's not publicized. That's somebody who's inside saying that, right? Like that he was inside that the Mercedes-Benz stadium and he witnessed that. That wasn't a reporter going in and taking a picture of that, so those things you got to take into account. I believe Kanye is definitely saved, right? I definitely think he's a Christian. He's the real deal. It's just you got to think like when you were first saved, how would it be if somebody followed you with a camera? You still go back to your old habits. You're still doing things. It wasn't like, sometimes it is, but not regularly. Somebody snaps their finger and then you're no longer doing what the things you used to do. It takes time. It's a process. As I mentioned in last week's episode, like Dayton posted a video on his Instagram. Like, he was still battle rapping. I think it was like a year into his his faith. He was still battle rapping, still going crazy with his words and stuff like that. But look at Dayton today. That's not who Dayton is today. Dayton is definitely a consecrated, sanctified man of God. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Dayton 973. But I had to plug it in there. But nah, bro. Yeah, man. Like, I just think we gotta have some grace for this man. We just gotta have grace for this man. Yeah, and as Ruslan said in one of his videos, he had a mutual friend of Kanye that is, seeing Kanye's transformation. And who knows? Right now he's acting up, but maybe when he sits down to reflect on things, then he'll be like, all right, I gotta chill out. So us as believers, I feel, especially us that have no connection towards Kanye at all, we just gotta be praying for him, bro.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think sometimes, like, we as Christians can have like holy amnesia, bro. I think sometimes we think that, when we come to know Jesus, we get saved and we're clean, that we forget that we're still sinning, right? I think I'm gonna definitely mess this up, right? But I always hear like theologians and stuff talk about Martin Luther talking about this Latin phrase called simul et peccator, something like that. Like, freaking, we're sinning, we're justified while we're like simultaneously we're still sinning as well, right? And I think, like, we think that when we come to know Jesus, that we're just walking the straight path, right? That we're not sinning at all, like we're just perfect, right? Some people think that, some Christians think that. They're wrong. But anyway, it's just like, how are we to think that, like, if we come to know Jesus and we're still flawed and we still mess up, that Kanye isn't going to mess up either, right? He's in the public light. He's in the public eye, and like, obviously some of the stuff that he's going to be doing is going to be caught on camera, and honestly, he can't help that, right? I think I've heard some Christians and like commenting on like videos and stuff saying like how Kanye needs to step back from the limelight and just like be disciple and stuff like that. But it's just like, you can't do that when this man's livelihood, bro. Like, he's working, he has a family to feed, you know what I mean? And like, regardless of whether he's like rich or not, like, that's his livelihood, that's what he does. And you can't just tell a man to like step back and be disciple and do all these different things and just completely just forgo his music at the moment to kind of be changing the image that they want him to be. Like, I think in this moment, we gotta just pray for him. We gotta definitely show him grace. And I think just be with him on a journey and prayer and spirit, right? You know what I mean? I think like on his first no, nah, definitely Kanye has been wilding, and some of the things that he needs to be held accountable for. Like, some brothers like in his circle need to tell him like, yo, cut it out. You're acting like a knucklehead. This is not what you need to be doing. But on the other hand, also showing him grace and like realizing that, yo, he's on a walk right now. He's on a transformation. Like, I'm pretty sure, like, our favorite, I'm just gonna keep throwing shots, our favorite Reformed brethren, they still gotta walk, bro. They're still being justified. Well, these are justified, but they're still being cleansed. They're still being made new. And I think they should be showing that same grace for Kanye, or we should be showing that same grace for Kanye instead of writing him off, thinking like, oh, bet he's not a Christian or anything like that. Yeah. It's like we all gotta walk. Like, our sins aren't publicized, but his are. So it's like, what can you really do? You know what I mean? So I think,
bro, we gotta clip that for TikTok, bro. That was just pure heat, bro. That was straight heat, man.
Yeah, no, I think what you're saying, Elijah, is spot on. I like what you said about the holy amnesia, because I feel like oftentimes us as believers, we tend to fall into that, and I think where this conversation kind of the root of it lies within the process of what we believe in the process of sanctification, right? So like, we look at, for example, I have Romans 7 verses 18 and 19 pulled up. This is the Apostle Paul talking, and he says, "For I know that nothing good dwells in me, that is, in my flesh. For I have the desire to do what is right, but not the ability to carry it out. For I do not do the good I want to do, but the evil I do not want to do is what I keep on doing." And so there's this earthly carnal flesh that we're constantly battling with, and we see that publicly with Kanye West. We see that publicly with Justin Bieber, but then we see it privately within ourselves. There's these old habits that we in ourselves, in our own flesh, are battling with, you know. And this isn't to excuse sin, absolutely no. And actually, let's go back to chapter 6 in Romans, in verse 1, where Paul says, "What shall we say then? Are we to continue in sin that grace may abound? By no means." By no means. That word right there, by no means, in the Greek, it's basically Paul saying, "Heck
Pull
no."
up the Greek, bro.
He's basically
Pull up the
Resident
Greek, bro.
theologian.
That's Bobby Gossett here. Me and
Come
Chad not
on,
doing
son.
this,
Stop
bro.
playing
Come
with
on,
him, bro.
Oh
Talk
my
to
God.
that boy nice.
Don't talk to him
Yo,
at all,
y'all,
bro. Come on, now.
y'all are bugging. Y'all are bugging. What I'm trying to say is he's basically saying heck no. Like, it's a strong, emphatic, like, no, like, this is no means to continue sinning. But my man Paul is still in the very next chapter, meaning that he wrote that first, right? By no means shall you sin. But then later on in the book, he continues on saying that he's having this battle of flesh, right? And so we see that with someone. Heck no, Mars 22. I like the APA format. That's good. But he's basically saying, like, yo, like, so okay, so going back to what Paul says, I'm having this earthly battle, having this carnal battle where I want to do what God wants me to do, but then I continue to sin. And then you apply that to someone like Kanye, or even someone like us, and say, okay, well, if Paul the apostle, one of the apostles that was chosen by God, spread the gospel all throughout, in all his missionary journeys, if he struggles with it, we're bound to see someone like Kanye. We're bound to see someone like me, Josh. We're bound to see someone like Chad, Elijah, slip up, fall, go back into old habits. But then the point of repentance is to turn 180 degrees, run back to Jesus, run away from your old life, run towards Jesus. And I think that we're not going to know that unless we know Kanye person to person, one on one. And so I think what Chad said at the very beginning, spot on. Pray for my man. Pray for my man.
Kanye, bro.
If
Y'all want to know the Greek for the word repent?
Let's hear it.
Metaneo.
Metaneo.
Yeah, man.
Hey,
And
them boys go to seminary out here.
so if we have a man named Kanye West, Ye, who legally changed his name to Ye, if we have our man Ye, who claims to be a Christian, he claims to have made a profession of faith. That means, for all intents and purposes, that man is our brother in Christ. And if he's our brother in Christ, we're called in the Bible to pray for the saints who are in the battle, who are there fighting the spiritual battle, right? The Ephesians talks about how we don't fight against flesh and blood, but against the principalities that rule the air. And so that's why Ephesians 6 tells us to be constantly, with the sword of the Spirit, breastplate of righteousness, constantly with the full armor of God. And so that's all we can do. We can pray for Kanye. We can pray that he continues on forward, and pray that he's surrounded by people who constantly want the best for him in terms of his relationship with Christ. And so, and as far as his public life, if he's making a public sin, if he's doing something publicly wrong, since he has a public life, I think that we're in the right to publicly rebuke and call out that sin, but we're also just as public to pray for that man and to pray that he goes back to repentance, right? And so there's a full calling out of sin, but then a full amount of grace at the same exact time. So those are my thoughts on that.
Yeah, bro, because you know what's crazy about all of this? Like, the media finds any way to scrutinize Kanye West. Like, if you Google Kanye West right now, you know what the top thing pops up? Kanye West can't perform in Australia because he isn't fully jabbed up. Kanye West warned by Australian PM he must get jabbed for the vid. Australia says Kanye West must be fully jabbed to perform. Like, bro, like, that's literally all you see. Like, there's nothing good about him. Like people, like, it's like the media literally is seeking to destroy him. And like, bro, if we're gonna get spiritual in here, like, the media is out. It's out for against the kingdom, right? Media in general is always against the kingdom. So it's like, if Kanye is trying to be a man for the kingdom, it's only natural that now that he is a man of the kingdom, a kingdom citizen, you know what I'm saying? Like, the enemy is going to be prowling on him heavy, bro. Using that very media that he was trying to use to glorify the kingdom. You know what I'm saying? Like, think about the spiritual atmosphere, right? When Kanye West, right, one of the biggest artists of our generation, dropped an album named Jesus is Lord. Like, think about the spiritual atmosphere, bro. Like, even think about recently with the Donda drop, right? They Justin Bieber and Kanye West were praying, laying hands on what's his name, Marilyn Manson, bro. Like, bro, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's so it's like, bro, it's like the media didn't want to keep portraying that image of Kanye for forever. They had to eventually, you know, flip the switch.
You know what's crazy? There's someone I know, and they basically said they're agnostic. They identify as agnostic, and they're like, you know what? The most ironic thing is that my favorite song off of the album is "Jesus is King." I was like, interesting way to kind of segue into evangelism.
Bro, you know what my favorite song on Jesus is Lord is, bro?
What?
Closed on Sunday.
Yeah.
Chick-fil-A. Closed on Sunday. Yo, it's so relevant and practical, bro. Like,
right,
yeah,
exactly.
y'all, I know y'all left church on a Sunday and wanted some Chick-fil-A.
Dude, that's happened. One too many times.
Oh man,
bro, do y'all think that? I guess with this conversation and just with Kanye, with a lot of different celebrities, do you think that? I think, I guess secular people. I don't want to say secular people. Just regular people that don't know Jesus, or people who are just in pop culture, that they put like artists, icons, whatever, on a pedestal. Do you think, like, as Christians, do we do that too when like we have a huge superstar or someone come to faith in Jesus? I think for the most part, from how I look at it, is that when we see like a Kanye West, a Justin Bieber, that they come to faith in Jesus, that we expect them to kind of lead this big spiritual transformation and kind of lead millions and millions of people to Jesus because they have a really big following. And I think from that, we kind of expect like, we expect, Kanye or Justin Bieber or Chance the Rapper to like bring in this revival, basically, right? That something that, like, I feel like, I guess we're not trusting the Holy Spirit for, you know what I mean? I think we're trusting like these big superstars, these big people, big icons, to be able to tell people about Jesus, right? And I think we do in my perspective, we put them on a pedestal because we're too lazy to do it ourselves, the modern man. But what do you guys think about that?
I know exactly how to respond to that one, bro. Well, I think indirectly, if they're not leading it, like, if they're just, they're just popular and we have that expectation of them, I do think in a way they are ushering us into some type of revival, because ever since Chance the Rapper became a believer, bro, I can tell you, like, saying that you're a Christian and, like, sharing Christian like thoughts and feelings and opinions has been a lot easier. I can say prior to Chance the Rapper becoming Christian and professing his faith publicly, like, I remember how hard it was to share faith with people around my age, right? But it became easier once Chance did, and then it became easier once Justin Bieber did, and then when Kanye became saved, it became like super easy to share faith and talk about Christian beliefs, because it was just an open conversation. Like, people aren't going to just hate the biggest celebrities in the world, people aren't just going to turn around and be like, yo, we hate Justin Bieber again. You know what I'm saying? Like, people start to tend to pick up the philosophy, maybe not the actual like beliefs as their artists, but they start to pick up the philosophy and like, hey, if this person is not who I associate as Christian, because the biggest thing is people's perception of who is Christian isn't the loving type of people. It's very unloving, hateful people. That's the modern like persona of a Christian, right? But if it becomes real, it becomes very relatable, just like music, right? Like, people listening to a breakup song, it becomes real, and people start to relate to these people, because then they say, oh, that's Justin Bieber. I've listened to Justin Bieber for 15 years. If he's saying this, I feel like I can talk about this now. If Kanye West did all these crazy things and and he's forgiven by Jesus, maybe this Christian walk and religion isn't that crazy that I thought it was. Maybe it's a little bit more relatable for people. So yes, us as Christians may be looking at these big like people to lead revivals, but I think indirectly, like God is definitely using this shift in the culture to win souls back for the kingdom.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And so Chad, it sounds like you're looking at it from like a top down perspective where they're the ones who based on their experience with Kanye's, Justin Bieber's, based on like their professions of faith that they make publicly, they then influence people on the ground level like us to be like, hey, look at this guy, has such a big following. How about I go ahead and I be just as vocal about my beliefs as
Yeah,
they are.
bro. As we
And
say in our bio, like this is the intersection with faith, media and art, because I really do believe we are in probably the greatest revival in human history, like with the accessibility to the internet and just the openness. Like me and Elijah could stand on this call right now and be like, we're Christians, and like no other time in history were able to do this. And I just think these big name celebrities are making it just a little bit easier,
Absolutely. Yeah, no, absolutely. And that was one perspective I wasn't expecting to kind of hear, but I actually really like that, like that kind of perspective in regards to like Kanye and Justin themselves being like the revival leaders, kind of amassing like millions and millions of people to follow Christ. I think that would be a really like practical way in order to kind of lead a revival. But then would it be necessarily like their calling? Like in
Yeah,
regards to
exactly. It's like indirectly because
right.
I grew up in the Christian faith, but I remember vividly when Chance the Rapper came out with Chance 3 coloring books, right? I remember like really solidifying my faith around that time because I had that thought process. I was like, if this guy can go from making acid rap and talking about how like his God is his drugs to going and making a song saying we don't do the same drugs no more, and then make a song like Blessings and like basically a song literally about him praising God and how much he loves Jesus. I'm like, if he can go from that to that, I can definitely, go to God with my sins and really die to my sins every single day,
Absolutely. I'm thinking of right now of the for example the first and second great awakenings that happened. The first one during the 1700s primarily. I'm thinking of people like George Whitfield and whatnot, where he started, for example, in the Church of England with basically just preaching his messages and whatnot, um, and then from there he started amassing more of an audience, and then by 1742 he had 20,000 people, 30,000 people attending his messages, and then that's where the first Great Awakening, like this super big revival within America, started. People were just faithfully preaching Christ continuously, and so kind of the root of revival, will I think will definitely occur within the preaching of the word, the proclamation of the word, and the Holy Spirit working through it. And so we look at people like Kanye, people like Justin. I think that they have the audiences in order to kind of make that impact. But then you start to think about like, hey, like to what point is their career ministry, and then like to what point is it also like just their way of getting around life? Like you mentioned earlier, Chad, like they're just providing for their family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think when as Kanye, as a Justin Bieber, as a Chance, I think Chance kind of already realized this, but as they grow in their faith, they'll realize that what they do does have an effect on people's souls and the way they think, right? So I think the more they grow, the more they mature, right? They'll look at it more as a lens of ministry instead of just looking at it as a means of life and getting income and stuff like that, right? Because I think they'll realize like, yo, what I'm doing now will in some way, shape, or form impact someone's future, someone's eternity. And I think as they come to realize that, I think as we've come to realize that, as other people that make music have come to realize that are walking with Jesus, like, hey, like what I'm doing on a day-to-day basis, the type of things I say, the type of things I think, the way I love my neighbor at the end of the day is going to in some way impact them in a way that I probably won't see until we get to eternity. And I think if Kanye, if Justin Bieber, if they're realizing that, which I think they will, as they start walking with Jesus, longer, right, I think they'll just start to realize, oh, okay, that this is my ministry, right? They may not look at like their past, life, career, or whatever as like a sense of ministry, but I think they will at some point. I think, for example, let's point out another Christian, like famous Christian like Denzel Washington. This man's a Christian, and
Denzel Washington's a Christian.
Denzel Washington is a Christian, bro.
Yo, like, shout out my boy Denzel, man.
Bro, this man had an old interview about like talking about his faith, bro. And I think in a way, like he uses his acting as a sense of ministry, right? Which like I think in some way, I think I'm more attracted to when people say like, yo, bet this is what I'm doing, this is my ministry, this is how I'm going to impact people, because like, believe it or not, like what we do is going to have an effect on people. And I think Kanye will realize that sooner or later.
Yo, one thing I could say, bro, is I really hope this man's marriage comes back together, bro, because
facts.
Man, because high key, man, he had a good marriage going. If if they do get back together, you got to pay more attention to his wife. That's because apparently I think that's the case why they got why they're getting divorced. I don't know if that's true, but if it is, man, definitely they got to build on their marriage because they got kids, and like kids need both parents in the house. You know what I'm saying? Like,
absolutely.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is that comment someone just left. I miss the old Kanye. That was a bop. That was a bop from his The Life of Pablo album. So that just gave me a little throwback.
Oh snap! But man, prayers up for Kanye, bro. Prayers up for Kanye. And I know Josh not gonna like this comment I made, but Kanye's a Bulls fan, right, Josh?
Oh, dude. I don't mind that. I don't mind that. Hey, listen, Bulls. I'm about it.
Josh lives on the East Coast, right? But supports the Golden State Warriors.
Damn.
Yo, I came for all smoke, bro. All smoke.
All I'm saying is, how in the world California got two teams that I love, man?
Yo, Josh,
I'm dead.
Josh, you're not loyal, bro.
Yeah. Take me out of this coast. Put me in the West.
Yo, high key, bro. I'm calling it right here, so it's documented. Yo, Josh, you gonna be my witness to this. The Phoenix Suns are winning the 2022 NBA Finals.
Yo, second time, man. Second year in a row. Second year in a row, bro.
That's a hot take. Oh my goodness.
I'm telling you, bro.
Hey, everyone in the comments that's watching this in the archives, make sure to stay tuned for that Kanye documentary that's coming out. Genius. It's JEEN YUHS. It's basically a documentary about his life, and from what I understand, it's going to be a trilogy. It's called Genius, a Kanye trilogy. So make sure to be on the lookout for that. If y'all want to kind of go a little bit more in depth, it will be on Netflix. So make sure to stay tuned on that. It should be coming out probably February, some point in February.
Maybe it's tied with the drop of his album, probably.
Yeah, definitely.
Can we just take some time to just shout out my boy Elijah for the thumbnails, man? This boy has been killing the YouTube game, bro.
Bro, we up and coming, bro. We out here. Tell that's not Christian, Ruslan, yo, we coming for him. That's it.
We coming for them in love. We coming for them
in love. We just want you on the channel, bro. That's it. That's really it, bro. That's it.
Yo, shout out to my boy Jay is LA, because Jay follows me from That's Not Christian, and y'all do your thing, Brian. We definitely got respect for y'all. Shout out to them. So if you guys like this podcast, definitely check them out too.
Yeah, absolutely.
So any closing thoughts for just Kanye, just how, I guess, for the people that are listening that will listen to this after this?
Man, I just want y'all to pray for him and his wife, man. Like more than anything else, more than like literally anything else for this man. Pray for his wife, and then or pray for his faith first, then pray for his wife. Because we want this man to be solidified in his faith. We want him to be walking with Jesus. We want him to be in active repentance, and then pray for his marriage, that him and Kanye might work it out, or they might part ways peacefully. Like that. They could do things and not disrespect each other openly. Not put their kids through traumatic experiences like that. And then lastly, just pray for his mental health. That he continues to seek the guidance from professionals, spiritual leaders as well. Yeah, man, that's all I got.
Yeah.
How about you, Josh?
Yeah. All I gotta say is, and Elijah, feel free to sing along. Jesus walks. He walks with me. Listen, that's a classic. That's all I gotta say.
Got you. Yeah, I think probably last thing for me is that I realized that, like, just like our podcast, Kanye's a sinner too, right? I think everyone that's listened to this, everyone that you know, everyone that we know, like they're sinners, right? In need of grace. Copyright. but yeah, they're sinners, bro, in need of grace, bro, from a holy God, bro. And I think, like, and we're looking for perfection from our favorite artists, from our favorite musicians or whatever. That's not going to happen. It's not a reality right now, at least on this side of eternity. I think, yeah, the only person that's perfect, Jesus, right? That's what we want to point people to. That's what we want anyone that's like claiming the name of Christ, bro, to point people to is that, hey, this is the only one that's perfect, that's walking perfect, that, hey, he came down to us, lived the perfect life we couldn't live, died the death that we deserve, so that we could have life and eternal relationship with God. So I think, more so, I think, yeah, like Chad said, praying for this man, praying that, like, God restores his marriage, bro, because marriage is a beautiful thing. And I think no one wants to see Kanye go through that. I think regardless of, like, how you feel about his wife right now, right, it's still marriage. God views it as something that's holy, right? And I think instead of, like, us just, saying what we want about Kanye and not giving him grace, bro, praying for his life, praying for his mental health, praying that, he'll actually be secure in his relationship with Jesus and not in whatever this world has to offer. You know what I mean? I think that should be a prayer for all of us, right? So throughout your weeks, when passing by, pray for Kanye, pray for his life, man. So that's all I got.
Yo, shout out to Elijah, man. Look at those dreads popping out tonight, bro. Like, the dreads made a special guest appearance tonight, bro.
Bro, got them done yesterday, bro. Got them John slanging. So yeah,
Yo, I gave up on my hair, man. I was on the wave journey. I gave up, bro. I'm done.
Why'd you give up?
Cause I want to grow out my hair again, bro. I want to grow out my hair, braid it out again. Dye it blonde this time. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, man. I miss having long hair. So 2022, we coming for that.
That man Chad about to have long hair with the grill in, bro. Talking about
yeah, nah, bro. That's 2017, bro. They missed the old Chad, bro. They missed the old Chad.
I miss the old Cooley. Straight out the gold, Cooley.
Yo, we definitely need, like, a little sound John that says that. Hey, yo.
Yeah. We gonna figure it out.
Yeah.
Any closing thoughts, Josh?
Hey, man, listen, Kanye West. Definitely up there, like, in terms of favorite artist for me. I echo similar sentiments to y'all. At the end of this is Christ. As far as we know, it's up to him and God as to the extent of that. So it's no place for us to judge. And so I think that we just as much as we publicly rebuke sin that comes out of this man, we publicly need to extend the same amount of grace, just as we've been extended. I think that's kind of the point. As Christians, as believers, we were offered a immense amount of grace. We say it jokingly every week, but it's serious. We're like, if you consider me the chief of sinners, like, I'm the worst sinner of them all. And so, like, me having that perspective, I see my man Kanye. I extend empathy. I can extend empathy to my man, being a co-sinner. Now being a co-heir with Christ, Amen. So now I, just constantly praying for my man. So yeah.
So yeah, guys, thank you for tuning in this week. The scriptures I want to leave y'all with is Romans 6:1, Romans 7:18 through 19, Colossians 4:5. Check out those whole chapters to get the precedents that we were speaking about in this episode. For our video listeners on YouTube, check out the links in the descriptions, our Instagram, our TikTok, YouTube Shorts, all of that. Check out the description with for all of our information. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. And for our audio only listeners, same thing. Check out the show notes below. Subscribe to our Instagram, TikTok, all of that, and like, comment, subscribe, and we'll be back again very soon.
Yes, sir.
Hey,
have a good night, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in.
Got you. See ya.